I put down your down payment.
You sure did. Thank you so much for
and
that.
Now that
Thank
you
you
got
so
this
much for
little
the
accident,
gift.
give me my money back. That was not a gift.
Promise to God. Yes, it was. But it's
no,
okay.
you didn't. Towanda told me her lender needed to see the money in her account and that she was waiting on a check and she would be giving me my money back. I was reluctant, but I said, okay.
Thank you so much.
You said I will pay you back the next day, and then you listed me as a creditor.
Oh, my God. Thank you so much.
So now it was a gift.
Oh, wow.
So I give away $50,000.
It was $50,000?
So Tamar gave me money for my down payment in 2018.
Buried inside a bankruptcy document that would shatter the illusion of sisterly loyalty forever. There was a name written there, Tamar Braxton, and beside it the word creditor for the world. It was just paperwork. But for Tamar, it was the ultimate betrayal. Because this was not a stranger or a business partner. This was her own sister, Towanda Braxton. The same sister she helped when no one else would, the sister she handed $50,000 to, not out of charity, but out of love. Tamar was the one who reached into her own savings to keep her sister's dream alive. But love can turn poisonous when trust becomes a weapon. Tamar had always been labeled the emotional one, the dramatic one, the problem child. But when you listen beneath the shouting, you hear a woman who had been pushed too far for too long. So when Tamar said she gave Towanda that money, people rolled their eyes until the proof came out. The documents, the receipts, the part. No one was supposed to see Towanda Braxton. Listed her own sister in her bankruptcy filing as a creditor, admitting she owed the money. But instead of paying it back, she buried it, treated it like it never existed. And what did the other sisters do? Toni silent, Trina smirking. They acted like Tamar was crazy, but before the bankruptcy, before the lies, there was a house, a dream house Towanda wanted, and Tamar helped her look good for the lender, wired the money trusting she would return it in a few days. But instead, Towanda filed for bankruptcy and listed Tamar like she was a credit card bill. The betrayal was not just financial, it was psychological on reality TV. It looked like just another argument. But behind the edited scenes was a woman realizing her own blood was painting her as a liar. Tamar was not losing her mind. She was losing her trust, and it got darker. Toni once admitted she found her credit card linked to Towanda's phone, planned 6 lines, 4 years, all in Tamar's name. Yet, when the truth came, Toni just smiled and said, "Family helps each other." But this wasn't help, this was manipulation dressed as sisterhood. Towanda did not just take money. She took the narrative, she let the world think Tamar was unstable while she hid her own lie. Imagine helping your sister buy her dream house only to see your name in her bankruptcy file as a creditor. Tamar realized Towanda planned it all. And then to add insult, she even called the police on Tamar, painting her as dangerous. This is a cycle that played out for years, Tamar. As the villain, Towanda. As the victim, Toni and Trina, quietly letting Tamar burn. But this time, Tamar brought receipts. The bankruptcy filing was proof. Not gossip that money was not a gift. Like Towanda claimed, it was a loan and the paper trail exposed. The truth. Yet Toni and Trina stayed quiet because silence protects the lie. This is no longer about arguments. This is about betrayal in broad daylight. Filed in court, Tamar is done being the scapegoat. The receipts do not lie. The bankruptcy does. Not lie. The silence does it. Is one thing to be betrayed by a stranger, but when the knife comes from your own blood, the cut hits different. Tamar spent years protecting the family name, even when her reputation was ruined. But when the proof finally came, she expected her sisters to stand with her. But instead, she sat there alone, realizing the truth never mattered to them. Towanda did not make a mistake. This was calculated. She bought that home in 2018, already knowing she would file bankruptcy in 2019, and the ink was already drying on the plan was not even dry on the mortgage before she was already listing debts. And right there in black and white was Tamar Braxton's name. Think about that, who buys a home only to file bankruptcy months later, who takes $50,000 from their own sister, promises to return it, then hides behind law to erase it. That is not bad luck, that is intent. And yet when the truth surfaced, Towanda acted like it was nothing. She laughed, she minimized. She said it was a gift. But the law does not lie. Bankruptcy filings are legal documents. They do not include gifts. They include debts. And Tamar was listed plain as day. The more she talked, the more people realized maybe Tamar was not the drama queen. Maybe she was the only one brave enough to speak truth, because in families that protect secrets, honesty is punished, and Tamar represented disruption. The mirror no one wanted to face when she said her sister stole her credit card. People doubted her until Toni Braxton quietly admitted she found her own name on Towanda's phone plan. 6 lines, 4 years, all charged to Tamar's card. Imagine the humiliation. You are on TV building a brand, and behind your back your own sister is racking up bills in your name, and the others did nothing. Even Toni brushed it off as family helping family, but this was not help. This was theft disguised as loyalty. Every time Tamar spoke, they said she was emotional. Every time she showed proof, they called her petty because her truth hit too close to their home. The pattern was clear. Whenever Tamar exposed something real, they united not against the wrongdoing, but against her. Towanda's lies were inconvenient, so they buried them under laughter. Toni's silence became a code. Trina's smirk became her armor, and Tamar became the lightning rod. But that is what happens when you refuse to play along the family that called you crazy. Now fears your receipts. The cameras that edited your breakdowns now capture your vindication. This was no longer about money. It was about respect, about betrayal that cost dignity. Tamar never claimed she was perfect. She just wanted fairness, accountability, an apology that never came. Because deep down, she knows her sister did not only owe her money, she owed her honesty. And maybe that is why Tamar finally snapped. Maybe that is why her voice shakes when she talks about family, because there are only so many times you can be gaslit before you fight for your name. So when she looked into the camera and said, "You listed me as a creditor," it was not just a statement. It was liberation. The paper proved what her heart knew all along, and yet the silence from Toni and Trina still hangs. Not a defense, not a word, just polite smiles, but silence is not neutral. Silence is protection. Silence is guilt with lipstick on. And now the world is asking if Tamar was telling the truth all along. What else was she right about? How many meltdowns were really just breaking points? Under years of manipulation, sometimes the loudest person in the room is not unstable. She is just tired of being lied to. And now, with receipts in hand, Tamar Braxton has changed the story forever. The public saw drama, she saw betrayal. Her sisters saw shame, but the truth saw light. Towanda's bankruptcy tells one story. Toni's and Trina's silence tells another, but Tamar's trembling, defiant voice tells the one that matters most. Because when the money fades and cameras stop rolling, one thing remains. Undeniable: Tamar Braxton was right.